of people that have had that unique experience. So yes, I loved it. I thought everybody did it tremendously well, and they've had a very unusual, as we all have. We've been all bubbly, haven't we? And we don't mean necessarily our saucepans. We've been in bubbles, and they've had a massive bubble, including all the Love Productions team and everybody, the presenters, all down there in the hotel. What a party! Hey, can you imagine that? Whole building in there.
Thank you so much, Karen, to be with us tonight. I feel such an honor. And to be honest, you are the Yorkshire baking legend, and we are so pleased that you kindly, allocate your time for us.
I love it. It's great fun. It's great.
What are you going to teach us tonight?
Yeah, right, everybody. So tonight, I volunteered to do not a bake tonight because it's my husband John's birthday, and he's sitting down here.
Happy birthday, John!
Happy birthday, John!
Come up and say hello. He's coming. He's just going to pop his little head in.
Let's see the birthday boy.
Pop down there. He's been very tolerant.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, John!
So basically, I needed to cook him something a little bit special but easy because we're in a caravan. So I thought, what can we do? And it's a bit retro. We're doing beef stroganoff, or if you're doing a vegetarian one, it's mushroom, spinach, that type of thing, stroganoff. Retro, yes, because in the late 1970s and 80s, when I was a young woman, we didn't eat out much, but we did once go to a restaurant in Churban and Elman. I remember we went, and it was called the Bon Viveur, and it was considered to be very posh. And one of the dishes on there was beef stroganoff, and I had that the first time in my life. Stuck in my mind. And it's so easy, honestly. It's a really easy thing. We can have it cooked and on the table in, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes if we're rushing, but we're not rushing. We've got to just take it easy and see how we go. So do you want me to start, Marnie, now?
Yes, we are, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this.
It's a very. I mean, it's not a dieter's dream. This, but it's a special meal for John. I'm having to light the stove with a good old match because the lighter's gone just today. So put some heat on your ring, and the first thing that I do with this. It's a bit back to front. I actually sear this. I mean, if you're using steak, if you're not using steak, just watch until we get round to the next step.
Should we not do anything if we're veggie people then, Karen?
I should just wait, and then we'll all keep up to the same point. Yeah. Yes. So I got 2 sirloin steaks. I wanted something that would cook fast. And I cut it into strips with my scissors, and I put it in a bag just with a tablespoon of oil. Because what I've been told about steak is you don't oil the pan, you don't fry it, you just oil the meat a bit, and that's all it needs for a quick flash. So really, we're not putting any more oil into the pan here. We're just going to cook the steak for, well, I'm only going to do it for a couple of minutes just to make it rare, because remember it's going back in a sauce, so it'll have more cooking, and to brown it and to sear it in. If you're using pork or anything else, remember, because this could go back in at the very last minute, because we can eat steak rare, of course. But if you're using pork, which I think Stro is out there, at the end of the dish, it needs to have been cooked as thoroughly as possible. So. You wouldn't put that back in at the last minute. So, in with your steak, into your frying pan.
Is that on a very high heat then, Karen?
High. Yeah, quite a high heat. I mean, I have only just put mine on because I've been talking, so it won't be a high heat. But that's me. Remember, I'm not a chef. I'm just a person that enjoys cooking. And I've had no formal training either in baking or in cooking anything, so we make it up as we go along sometimes, and that's part of the fun. And I think that's the best bit. So that's going in.
I'm sure this recipe is going to be fine, and it will be perfect, Karen.
Yes. So mine, of course, is not sizzling because I haven't had the pan on. Oh, it's starting. It'll come up. So just going to put that into that and let it do its own thing. if you're using brandy, is anybody, hands up if you've got brandy, Andy?
Oh, yes.
Chrissie!
Alcohol.
I went into a little shop last week to find, and I kept saying, have you got a miniature of brandy? No, we haven't got any miniatures. Oh, I said, oh no. I says, what size bottle have you got? I only want a bit. I don't want a bit. And I felt like I was covering up for myself. I thought.
Just a handbag size, Karen.
I think I sounded as if I was talking like that woman that protests too much. Why I just wanted a little one, please. Just now I need it. Anyway, I got this one. So normally you would flambe the brandy, like with the crepe Suzettes, you know, the flames, or your Christmas pudding.
Yep,
and that I do believe you get a metal spoon. This is not. I'm not doing it. I'm not setting fire to the caravan. But if this was a metal spoon, you put your brandy in it, and over a bit of heat until it sort of the flames ignite, and then you just chuck it on your meat.
Yeah, and that's great, isn't it, Karen? If you've got a gas flame, it's ideal. But if you've got a ceramic hob or something like that, I think it's got to heat like a little pan, don't you, to get it hot before you ignite it.
That's right. So we're not doing that tonight. I don't recommend it. But what I'm going to do, so my meat is just starting to sizzle up and colour.
Yep.
And what we're going to do, we're going to just, if you're using the brandy, which is totally optional, obviously, if you don't want to use alcohol, don't. One word though, for anybody that thinks alcohol's not something they want, the alcohol cooks out. So in actual fact, you are only left with the flavour and not we're not going to be staggering about.
So it would mean that John has to finish the rest of the bottle because it's his birthday.
Oh, well, it's Christmas cake. It's Christmas cake time coming up. It's Christmas cake time.
Mince meat, Karen.
Are you putting your mince? Did you say you were going to be doing your?
I'll be doing my mince meat next month.
So there we are. You see, we'll be needing supplies of brandy in the house. So
what are other ingredients that we have to prepare while we're waiting for the beef?
Yeah, well, the other ingredients, if you've not prepared your onion and your mushrooms, then you could be doing that now. Just chop your one mushroom up into small dice and one onion. And the mushrooms, I recommend you pick whatever style you use, big chunky slices. So you've got something in there. Especially if you're using the vegetarian option, then this becomes your bulk. So you can be doing that, and you can crush your garlic down if you're crushing it. So I'm about ready to pop a bit of brandy into this meat. Are we all with it so far?
Yes. We've got quite a lot of vegetarians in the house. I think how many of us are doing just the mushroom version?
Mushroom and spinach is brilliant, in actual fact.
Why didn't put the spinach? I could put spinach in. When would I do that, Karen? Towards the end?
Very, very last minute, because it just wilts down. You don't want it slimy. You just pop a couple of handfuls in, and it just goes down. And it's very good for you. And I used to work at a place, and they had to produce a vegetarian menu every day, and the mushroom and spinach stroganoff was extremely popular, even with non-vegetarian people, because it's very tasty. So I'm going to just put a splosh, a tablespoon, but you know, your own splosh, it doesn't really matter. That's going in. Yay. I think I could be more generous than one splosh in actual fact.
It's good.
Hey, it's all right. So I'm just going to bring that up. I might put mine onto a higher heat, because caravan stoves are not very sort of predictable, really. I think that's the thing to say about them. So I'm just going to put it on a bigger ring and just let that cook down. And then, of course, when we put it onto the plate to leave it while we do the rest of the dish, I'm going to sprinkle over about a tablespoon of plain flour. And that, when it goes back, will just make sure that the sauce thickens enough. Because you can reduce the sauce down a lot, but also a little bit of flour never did anybody anyhow. Okay. So that's looking nice.
So Karen, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If we're doing the vegetarian version, what I would probably do is when I've got my onions well and truly cooked, I might throw some brandy in them, do you think?
Yes,
so
it doesn't matter.
With the flour, I'm a bit of a cheat really when it comes to flour. I tend to thicken things with corn flour.
Oh, that's fine, absolutely. It's absolutely fine. I often do. But I just thought that this time, you know, because with the meat, the start of the meat idea, didn't realise we were going to get a big take on the vegetarian. But that's good. It doesn't really make any difference. I'm going to just put my. It's got a lot of liquid in there, and I'm going to let that go onto the plate as well, because I'm going to put the whole lot back in. So all those meat juices, brandy juices, and everything, we're going to go back into the pan. Okay. So.
Okay, for vegetarian people, I should start frying the onion now.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, thank you, Marnie. That's
Okay.
very
So, Marnie, are we using the butter, Karen? I know in the recipe it says butter.
Yes.
Is that as a glaze sort of thing at the end?
No, it's just because I've seen them do it on television, and I think it's nice. A bit of oil and a bit of butter makes for a very rich sauce with mushrooms in particular.
Right.
So
I'm not cooking my onions in the butter.
Oh, yes, you are now. You're doing it. You are. You're going to put the butter in. So the pan is now empty again. Butter in, and another tablespoon of oil. This is what makes the sauce so lush, in my opinion. And that's we don't want to. What I want to say about the onions here is I don't want anybody to burn these onions. I want you to caress them in.
Caress them?
Yeah. Can you possibly caress an onion?
I've never caressed an onion before.
Never. It's the first time for everything, Christine, and tonight's the night. The reason is, now my onions are in there, right? So they're in a knob of butter and a bit of oil. And what we do with onions, thing is about onions, right?
Medium flame, is it?
Medium flame. What we want, you know, if you're caramelising onions to make a chutney, you do it slowly and seductively, and let the natural sweetness in the onions, because there is sugars in onion, and that's what we want to tweak out. Okay, so we don't want to fry them off.
Seduction, caressing, and tweaking would be associated with onions, Karen.
No, you see. You never know what's going to come around the corner. So what we want to do, we want to get these onions glistening. Oh, lovely adjectives. Glistening.
Are you okay, Josie?
Yeah.
And we want them to become slightly translucent. All right, over there, Josie.
Yes, Karen, thank you. Just catching up.
Lovely. So really, you could take as long as you like over this step, because it's just the slower the better, really. So they become translucent. We don't think about hot dogs at the fairground that are fried and they're all crispy. As nice as they might be, I don't want you to do that. Just want you to soften them down, make them so go a little bit see-through, and then now you see. I'm going to tell you something here, and I don't know how it works. But I did a gig last year at Chester Racecourse, for Chester Food Festival.
Oh, near us.
Yeah, I did it I was booked in this year, and I'm booked in next year. You never know your luck. But I was the warm-up act. No, all the way around. Simon Rimmer was the warm-up act for me. That was it. So I'm sitting in the audience, massive audience for Simon Rimmer. In he comes, and he's talking about mushrooms and onions, but particularly mushrooms. And he said, when you put mushrooms into your pan, don't stir them and don't do anything with them. Let them give all their natural oozing juices out and become umami. That's the word he said. And my ears pricked up and I thought, yeah, I've never heard of that before. So that's now fine. So I understand. I'll come back to that story in a minute. So there we are. They're just starting to glisten and change colour. So I am now. If you're ready at that point, just throw your mushrooms in. Just chuck them in there.
Even though our onions aren't softened, Karen.
Wait until they are a bit. I mean, they don't have to be completely done because we're still cooking. But make sure they're well on the way. Okay. Now, back to Simon Rimmer. So that's what he said. Funnily enough, when he'd gone off and I came on, there was only about 20 people left waiting to see me. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, I took it on board and he said they should squeak. So I'm not actually, at the moment, touching these mushrooms. I'm just going to look at them and admire.
Well, mushrooms should squeak.
But that's what he said. Well, they do, They do.
Chrissie, are your mushrooms squeaking?
Listen, I tell a good tale, but that's what Simon Rimmer said. So, but I don't want to risk my onions burning underneath. So I'm sorry, Simon, I'm going to have to investigate and just give them a mix. And I'm just get the mushrooms now. All the mushrooms are going to sit there and gradually give out the best bits of they're going to become more liquid. And they wilt as well. So when you start with what you think is too many mushrooms in a dish, they seem to vanish into half when you've done them. So I've got lots in here.
Stock.
So this is at this point, everybody, we are going to probably go back to Marnie. She's got, if it's the right moment, and this is when people perhaps can do a bit of introduction. Possibly.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Karen, for reminding me. I'm totally forgotten because I'm so into your cooking spell. I can smell the onion and it smells lovely. So I think because we have a bit of members that join us today, a few members who are joining us today. So I would like to take this opportunity for them to introduce themselves. I start from myself first. I am Marnie from thaifoodmadeeasy.com. Also got an Instagram account, easy.thaifood. Who else wants to go next?
Well,
Silence.
Hi, Marnie.
Well, I'm going to
Hi, Karen.
volunteer somebody if you don't put your hand up.
I'm Nick from the Great British Food Festival. We're hosting the event today. Thank you to Karen and Marnie for taking up the lead. We've done 40 odd cookalongs now, amazingly. And we're going to take a little break after this, but we're coming back and maybe offering it to go out into your restaurant if you want us to come and do these cookalongs from there. Or some new ideas for the future, though, coming up soon. And it's great to see so many of our favourite chefs in with us today. So let's go and meet Josie, shall we?
Yes.
Just have to turn off my hog because I was a wee bit there. Sorry. So hi, good evening everyone. My name's Josie. You can get me on social media, all Josie Pops. I'm so glad I made it tonight because I can't miss a very nice recipe of beef stroganoff. So my boyfriend's waiting there for dinner.
Thank you. Chrissie!
Oh, hello! Hello, everybody.
Hi, Chrissie.
Hi. Listen, do you know what? I looked back at all the cookalongs we've done, and of course, people can all find those, can't they, on YouTube and on GB Social and the Great British Cookalong, Great British Food Festival.
Chrissie, I keep telling you.
Every moment of this.
Chrissie, it's cookalonglive.com. Come on, you're not got this yet.
What's that?
It's cookalonglive.com. You're not got this yet.
Cookalonglive.com. That's the one you all need to look at. And I'm rather saddened that this is our last one for a while, and that it's been an absolute lifesaver, especially during lockdown. And we've all learned so much from each other, and there are some amazing chefs on this cookalong. So I've got a bit mushroom heavy mad here, but it's looking fabulous, Karen. I'm on Instagram, Garden Goddess 216. I think that's me. I just can never remember what my Instagram is. But I do all sorts. I do crafty things and all sorts of cooking and gardening and things. So, but it's just been an absolute honour to cook along with all of you, and I think a lot of people do cook along, even though they don't zoom in, even though they don't, want to be seen on camera. It's been brilliant for so many people. So, all our chefs, brilliant.
Can I just, before we move on to the next person, just to say, with one eye, I don't know how people are getting on. My mushrooms and onions are starting to look really nice now. There's a little bit of colour on the mushrooms. They're starting to give off the juices. At any point now, you can put the garlic in. as long as you don't burn it. Don't have a high heat. We're doing things on a nice, gentle sort of. So I think garlic mushrooms going into this now. And just cook that off while the next person does their intro.
Hi, Shrew.
Hi, good evening. I'm Shrew. I just love to cook and do some experiments with the cooking, and I just try to do all the recipes for my grandma, which she passed to me 2 big notebooks of cooking, which I try to do and learn from that. My Instagram account is turmeric, where you can see a few recipes and all there. And that's it.
Lovely,
Thank you.
Hi, Simon. Christina.
Oh, yeah. So first of all, thanks very much for the tip about the garlic. Then we've just whacked it in. It's looking good. Yeah, this is our second time, and the first time was about what 3-4 months ago. Yeah. We saw the beef stroganoff this time. We thought, we want to get involved in that. That sounds good, and so far so good. We're currently in Germany, and you may or may not know that normally there'd be a big beer fest in Germany.
Yes, Oktoberfest, yes.
I'm a big fat boy, so I just wanted to do a bit of a cheers to everyone here. Because that's how it goes down normally in Germany at this time of year. So,
Prost, Simon. Prost.
Yeah.
So Christina is heavily pregnant, isn't she? We could get a live birth on the Zoom.
Let's just have a quick look, and here we go. Hey.
It's round 2, it's ready.
Right.
Is that everybody?
That's everyone, yeah.
Jing is here. Jing is in the house.
Where's Jing?
Yeah, Jing is in the house.
Think she's gone.
Okay.
All right.
I can't find her.
Well, we've got plenty of time. So now, what we can do now, because obviously my mushrooms are starting to go down a bit. So now I'm gonna put in my Dijon mustard, and I'm gonna put in some salt, pepper, some paprika. This are the seasonings now. I'm putting in here to get them going a bit. And so I can't remember what I put on but I put in about that much. Like a good
teaspoon on your recipe.
Tablespoon or so. It's all the matter of taste. Like I said at the beginning, if you don't like, some people don't like mustard. Although this Dijon, it's very mild. It's not like you. I would never put that much English mustard in there. Knock your head off. So that's going into the mix.
Have you got a bunch of Dijon there, have you, Chrissie?
What's that?
Where's your Dijon mustard from?
I've got Sarah Darlington's Dijon mustard that I sort of had a last panic where I didn't have Dijon mustard, so I've got Mrs. Darlington's. Well, it's actually Sarah Darlington's, my boss, gave me her Dijon mustard, which is very good.
I bet.
Well, I love the look of it. This is where it gets exciting to me, actually. So now we haven't got any liquid. It's sort of looking gorgeous. My favourite sort of herb spice at the moment is smoked paprika.
Mm-hmm.
Any sort of paprika would do, but I really like this. I just think it's like treats. Anyway, so yeah. So this is good as well on the top of it. When you serve it, you can put a sprinkling of this on for a bit of colour. So I'm putting about a teaspoon or so. I haven't got a spoon handy, so I'm just going to do that. And that's lovely. And then I'm going to grind some salt and pepper in. This with pepper. I think this dish can take a lot of pepper. My personal feeling is think peppercorn sauce with your beef. That sort of vibe. So we've got garlic, mushrooms, peppercorn sauce going on. So I'm going to grind quite a lot of that. Now with salt, of course, it should be really thinking about our salt intake. So that is definitely a matter of personal preference, but I'm going to give it a bit. Because it's John's birthday, so we're just pushing the boat out on naughtiness today. So I'm going to give some nice...
It's amazing how this reduces, isn't it, Karen? Because I had a lot of mushrooms, but it reduces a lot.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. You think you've got far too many, but no, absolutely not. So now, this is where I'm going to put in some of the beef stock or whatever stock you're using. But I mean, I'm just using one of those little pots or an oxo cube or something. Now I've got I made it up, I can't remember. We've got about 200 millilitres, but don't put it all in. I mean, what we're looking for is a nice thick sauce. You can always add a bit more. But so I'm putting in probably about half of that. And then we're going to increase the heat to start the reduction. When I say reduction, anybody, it just means that by leaving the lid off your pan and putting more heat under it, it boils up and it reduces the volume of liquid and makes it thicker. Okay, so that's what's happening here now. So we do what sauce in the stroganoff. So stroganoff is does anybody know the history of stroganoff? I don't, except I expect it's Russian. Does anybody know anything?
I don't know, I just thought it was East European. It was sort of like Czechoslovakian or sort of, I don't know, was it Austrian? It's over that way, isn't it?
I think it's Siberia, Russia, Ukraine, stroganoff. You know, you think
Marnie, do you know?
It's not Hungarian, is it, Simon?
People.
I have no idea, but I have an idea. Why don't we ask the viewer if they know, they put it on the comments.
I can't do
or
that.
if they know a little bit, just click like with
That's
us.
a good idea.
Definitely if anyone can Google it for us and find the answer for us. So if you're watching this, if you know what is stroganoff, coming from the history of stroganoff, please do put it in the comments.
Good idea. I think my youngest daughter, Vanessa, she may be watching tonight, maybe, and she would be the one, because the other day I started a blog, a caravan blog, and she said to me, I'm glad you're blogging again, Mum. She's got me logging details. And she said, I go in just as soon as I see you publish something, I go in and correct all your grammar and your spelling mistakes.
That's what daughters do.
Yeah, there you are. If someone can enlighten us, would be great.
So yeah, so get that heat banged up, and
Has the stock gone in yet?
the stocks. I've put about half of mine in. I'm just going to put a bit more. I'm not putting all of it. Oh, go on, let's put all of it in. Thing is, all we need to do is I'm going to put it on the top ring now. The box of matches will be running out. So I'm just going to really bang the heat up. So we've basically got everything in except the beef, the creme fraiche. So we can just now bring this like to a boil. We do all this before the cream goes in. I don't want us to be boiling creme fraiche. That sort of goes in at the last minute and just makes it lovely and soft. So that's in there. So what I thought about something Christine said today about the future, I thought that the idea of doing some Christmas recipes, some like maybe edible gifts, or your typical making your mince pies, or your mincemeat, Christmas puddings, all the things that we like to do, how to decorate Christmas cake idea. I think that would be really nice and festive.
I think that is a fantastic idea. Yeah, and we have so many chefs that actually specialize in making sauce as well.
Yes.
For example,
lots and lots of scope for a great run, like a season. So let's say that this is the last episode of the current season, Cookalong Live. And then we're going to come back maybe with Christmas things, something, I don't know. But I think that's great to do that.
It's a good shout, Karen. We've got a word from Facebook. The Stroganoff from Russia.
Hi, I thought it was.
Charlotte said so.
Oh, thank you.
Who was that? Who can we say thank you to?
Charlotte. She messaged in. Even with a little Russian flag.
That's great. And the Stroganoff, it was the Romanov family that, when the Russian Empire finished in 1917, perhaps you don't. But anyway, they, as far as I know, they were the Romanovs. It sounds similar, doesn't it? Them Fabergé eggs.
That's the Stroganoffs.
The Stroganoff family. How are we all doing anyway with our pans of sauce?
Yes, whatever it is, it tastes delicious, and the cream is really helpful during Christmas time, winter time.
Yes, so I'm just wanting to get this up to a high boil now, and then when we've got some reduction going off, which won't be long hopefully, I want to ask you all what we're going to serve this with, we'll chat about that while we're waiting for it to reduce. So go for it, everybody tell me, what's this going to go with?
It's definitely going to my mouth.
How are you serving it, Chrissie?
I might have done rice, but I think we're on pasta tonight. Yeah. We're on pasta.
I suggested that on the recipe that it goes well. It does go well with tagliatelle, and it's something that I've seen served. But any carb, basically. Well,
I've got red rice.
Rice is the perfect foil.
Rice, I've got red rice, which looks gorgeous.
Yeah, red rice.
Red rice, yeah. I don't know about anybody else, but isn't it hard now to find things like black rice or Camargue sort of red rice, or high red rice?
Chrissie, the rest of us haven't been looking for it.
To be honest, I haven't got a big repertoire with my rices. I'll tell you. What do I know?
How about Josie? What are you having it with, Josie?
I've got some boiled potatoes waiting. So first thing when I arrive from work is boil the potatoes straight away and then quickly cut out my ingredients to make it for here. So yes, just a simple.
I said earlier that because it's my husband's birthday dinner and he doesn't like rice and pasta, so I have done some mash and it's ready. And I'm going to do mine a bit fancy. Normally we just roll up the spuds on, but I've got this little ring to make a bit of a tower with the mash.
Nice, yeah.
So obviously that would go on the plate. So this is the plate. And then we'd put the mash in there and smooth the top, and then lift it off clean, and it looks a bit fancy pants.
Well, it is.
If we're posh nosh, let's do it, eh? Let's do it.
That's it. It's Caravan Live, but you can be posh in Caravan as well. How about straw? What are you having it with, straw?
With rice, white rice.
Oh yes.
Straw, are you using pork tonight? Did you decide to use pork?
Yes.
Good. That will be really good, that will. Because the pork goes really nicely with the creamy sauce. Oh, lovely. Nice one. Yeah. Now, my pan is starting to bubble quite ferociously. So I think... You see, it depends now on whether if you want to keep a little bit rareness in your steak, then you would wait longer. Because obviously, if you leave it in here for 10 minutes, it's going to be well done. So if you want to have it well done, you could put your meat in now. Or you can wait for the last push. Has anybody got spinach to go in there?
Spinach, well reminded.
Yes, I have.
Have you got that? Well, that doesn't go in till the last minute, but at least you've got it handy, because that's really nice. It's a really good mix. And sometimes a squirt of lemon juice will work with that at the very end as well. Yes, so I am going to go in with I'm going to return now. Viewers, this is my steak and its juices with a tablespoon of flour over it. And that now is going to go back into this sauce. Right. And continue to cook up. So now we've only got, if you've got that in, we've only got one proper ingredient left, and that is the creme fraiche or double cream. It really is, or sour cream. You know, one of them, but I've got creme fraiche. So I'm just letting this meat now. It's thickening really well because of that bit of flour. The brandy's in here, of course. Remember that taste in there. And yeah. So how's everybody's? I'm trying to see. Marnie.
Yes. So I think my mushroom and sauce is ready. So when would you like me to put creme fraiche?
Well, it depends whether we all stay together. I'm going to wait for 2 more minutes because I just want some more of this liquid to disappear.
Yeah, I will wait then. You know what? I got a
and if you've got any, and for serving as well, I think I put parsley. I actually don't like parsley, but that is traditionally what would go on. So I got a bit, just so it looks nice on a picture, I got a bit of coriander. I wouldn't, it's not a good match, but parsley, coriander, something like that on top, and a sprinkle of the smoked paprika, just for fancy. And then that would be it. So, is everybody else, how's Germany doing?
Simon and Christina.
Very good.
Fine. Very good.
So is the pasta
we're
ready,
doing good. We've just put that. Is now a good time to get the pasta on and get boiled, or?
Yes, it would, because pasta takes, about 10 minutes, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Do you think we can have it pan down? Can we look at the dish, Simon?
Yeah, it's just reducing. I can.
It's reducing.
That's what we're looking at the moment. I don't know if you can see it there.
I think that's
beautiful.
Great.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Getting there. Yeah. And mine is smashing. So how are we going to do this? After we've finished, are we going to just show our stroganoff to the camera and then come back to give our photographs of the plated up meal for photos afterwards? Is that the way forward?
I think that would be good. That is a good idea.
Yes.
I'm going to take my photo tomorrow morning because the light is better, and I'm going to serve with sticky rice. So I'm going to, use the ring as we do as well, Karen, and pack it up. So fingers crossed.
Yes, fancy it up. You're the world's best at fancying up pictures, aren't you?
Sticky rice.
Amazing. Howard's pudding the other day. What? Oof. So now, boys, girls, viewers, everybody, I think I'm going in with my creme fraiche. So I'm going in with again, this is entirely up to the individual. A good 2 dollops, about half a tub, I would think, because it's meant to be creamy and very lush. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce the heat a bit. Don't particularly want to boil my cream to bits. And I'm just going to go in.
Oh, it looks so beautiful.
This is when the colour changes. If you use just portobello mushrooms, those big field mushrooms, then it can be quite a dark sauce because of the colour of the mushrooms. But that's fine, because when you put in the cream or the creme fraiche and stir that through, so we're just mixing it in now. And obviously it goes like a creamy, lush colour. It's my favourite. I love food with a sauce, always. If I go out and have a steak, I'm always looking for the accompaniment to go with it. And turn that up again.
Yeah, same here. I like a lot of sauce. Yeah, I like saucy.
I like gravy, all that. And just... If you think it's not thick enough, because obviously we put more liquid in, you can always sprinkle a bit more flour over it. I don't want it to taste like flour, but just a tiny sprinkle will just do the whole thickening process for you. And like I said, I haven't put it on the recipe, but a squirt of lemon at the end just gives it a bit of zing.
So before we take it out before serving, or?
Yeah, just 1 hour or just before you serve it. I just like to put that on, but I didn't put it on recipe because I forgot. It's just an extra element. So that's lovely, and I'm just going to... So, see how structured I am. I'm just going to go in my flour bag. Just pinch. Like that. It's a bit chefy doing it from above, like that.
How's the sauce looking, Jen?
And then just give that a whiz.
Always muted.
Is everybody at the same point?
In the end,
Oh no, everybody's gone very quiet. Concentrate.
It's okay,
I think we're doing all right here. What do you reckon? Is that a decent colour?
Can't see it, mate.
Yes, that looks fine to me. Is it the right consistency for you?
Yeah, well, I think we need to maybe give it a bit more, maybe a touch of flour, actually, maybe.
Yeah, you just want to thicken it up. Because the thing is, we're doing this on live YouTube, and of course, there's a time element with everything. I think the viewers will get that if it's not exactly the consistency that you particularly want, and everybody's different, then mine now with that extra flour is going to be really quite thick.
I am putting the spinach in now, Karen. Is that okay?
You're doing what, love? The spinach, yes.
Yes, thank you. And I had a taste. It's beautiful. Oh, such a good flavour, Karen.
Is it? I haven't had, it's chef's privilege, isn't it? That's all good.
I can't help it. I have to try it first. Gorgeous.
Lovely, Karen.
Oh, isn't it nice?
So beautiful. So velvety.
Isn't it lovely? So, somebody's got a cat or a baby in the house.
Yeah, sorry, it's Tilly. She's been mad.
Don't you ever think that? Have you ever been woken up at night and thought, oh, somebody's abandoned the baby outside and run downstairs? An old tomcat in the garden. Don't be like. It's true.
So how are you doing there, Karen?
I'm finished. I'm going to turn my heat off it, and I shall attempt to lift it up.
Me too. I'm lifting my pen up and show to the camera now. Can everyone do the same?
Yeah, I've got mine here.
Be careful, though.
Careful.
They look great.
Careful, careful.
Right, 1, 2, 3. Show your hand, everyone.
Show us your babes. Oh, that's wrong trouser.
That looks good, bro.
I'm delighted. It's a rich, indulgent, but easy dish to make, and I'm sure everybody's going to enjoy that.
Flavour's amazing.
Thank you. And you can tweak it. You can at this point you can add a bit more mustard. You can add some more salt. At this point you can just put a little bit more seasoning as you want to, really. So I'm done. I want to say thank you to that viewer for sending in the information about Russia. That was great to have that bit of interaction. And thank you. So thank you very much. I'm done, and I'm hot.
Oh, thank you very much, Karen.
Get out of the kitchen.
Thank you very much, Karen. That is a fantastic dish indeed. And we are, again, I can't tell you how delicious this dish is. So tomorrow or later, if you guys take a photograph and send it to WhatsApp group, please. Otherwise, it's the end of the season, and we're definitely going to see you again very soon. If you like our this video, please click like. And if you would like to subscribe, just click subscribe. So we will send the alert to you when is the next Cookalong going to happen. Otherwise, have a good night and enjoy the meal. Thank you again, Karen. We love you.
Welcome. Thank you, Marnie. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
She wrapped it up nicely, didn't she? I've ended it. Well, end on here. It's bloody confusing, this.
It's always that end, isn't it, to get out?
That was me completely on my own. Marnie's daughter didn't come into that at all.
What was she meant to be doing?
She was supposed to be doing the jumping around stuff, and I was just going to set up the OBS and.
Oh, so she was going to vision mix it type thing, then.
Well, doing the spotlighting, yeah, totally.
Spotlighting, that's
what I've got to stop it all now, haven't I?
That went well though, that, didn't it?
It was good.
I thought that was good, that.
Well, it will be when you're finishing it.